Okay, today is City of Elkhorn Committee of the Whole, March 16th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Call to order, please. Roll call.
Tim Schroeder is absent. Peter Harvey.
Here.
Gary Peason Jr.
Here.
Ron Dunwoody.
Here.
Scott McClory.
Here.
Ken Minot.
Here.
Dan Roberts is absent.
Okay, first item is discussion regarding impact of Town of Lafayette pending withdrawal from EAFD service agreement on the fire department's operations. Item A is identification of potential budget reductions by city departments. And item B is information RE maintenance of effort reporting requirement. So Adam?
Yes, Alderman Payson. So at the last Department of the Whole, Committee of the Whole meeting, the committee, you guys directed, I should say actually about a month ago, you guys directed for us to look at cuts in all departments citywide to try to offset the loss in the cost allocation that Lafayette would be contributing. So that amount that we had to offset was about $293,000. So we directed that all departments look for savings of about 1.6% of their budgets. So in my memo, I listed the amount that each department was supposed to, which cuts they were supposed to identify. You'll see those proposed cuts like I said, in my memo. Most of the departments hit that number. The police were short by about 11,500. They'd hoped to rely on some IT savings, but looking at what IT is running right now, we don't think that that's probably a realistic number. So I know that the police department was going to do a deeper dive going forward on that. The fire department they identified some cuts in their proposed budget, but they couldn't make the cuts that they would need without making some personnel changes. And talking to the fire chief, his preference was that if they reduce their staffing, that then they wouldn't have to make any cuts in the overall rest of the budget. So that was their preference in terms of if the city had to make these cuts. So there's a master spreadsheet that was included in the committee of the whole packet that shows the GL account line items that each department identified, as well as a brief description as to what that cut would do in terms of what the impact would be on the department, so that the council can know. I don't know if there was any questions about any of those, but about the master spreadsheet, Matt's got just the summary numbers up there for you, but I don't know if there were any questions about the spreadsheet that was included in the packet.
No, I just appreciate the fact that all the departments were able to offer some opportunities in case we have to do them. Again, this was the exercise to see if we have to do it while we're figuring out what's going to happen. So I appreciate everybody's efforts regarding that. I do believe there were some other things identified as well.
Yeah, so the second part of it was, there's been questions about, sort of what changes the department itself could make in terms of staffing. As I mentioned, I know that the chief, Chief and I, along with Corey, sat down last Wednesday and talked about it. We put forward 4 different scenarios. They're in your packet, just a spreadsheet. These are just, like I said, scenarios as to what would happen if the department, let's say, reduced from the 8 full-time to, let's say, 7 full-time and 1 part-time, or 7 full-time and 1 part-time for 12 hours a day. There's 4 different options on there, as well as the projected cost savings. Option 3, which is the having 6 full-time per shift and 1 part-time per shift, would, for a total of 7, but it'd be 6 full-time, 1 part-time, would save the department about 450. There's a number in the packet, but it's about $470,000 approximately, which would offset the cost that not only the city of Elkhorn would have to pay for, but also would offset the cost to Geneva and Sugar Creek. So that third option would offset the departure of Lafayette, such that nobody's expenses would increase. So that's just for informational purposes. But again, we just wanted to give the committee of the whole options as well as information about just what the financial impact would be of different staffing models.
Thanks, Adam. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns from the council? Okay. All right. Thanks, Adam. The next item was the information regarding the maintenance of effort reporting requirements. Can you take us through that, please?
Yeah, so every year the city has to certify we have to file a maintenance of effort report. The 4 requirements are in my memo. You have to certify 2 out of the 4. And so the question was, what happens if you're unable to, certify that? There's a 15% penalty on your county and city municipal aid as well as the supplemental aid. The estimate of that would be about $93,000, which would be the 1-year penalty for if you're unable to certify. As I indicated in the memo, one of the questions was about expenditures. According to Corey, and she could certainly talk more about this, but when it comes to the expenditures element of it, they're looking at the expenditures of the city, not necessarily the department as a whole. So, to the extent that you keep the expenditures the same for the city and the same for everybody else, that shouldn't impact that maintenance of effort number. So, Corey, I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
Yeah, that's basically, he said that as long as our portion of the expenses stays the same, we can still certify that we are still at the same effort expense-wise. So that line item wouldn't change because we're not reducing our expense. Once they leave, we obviously wouldn't be able to certify for Lafayette when they leave because we are no longer providing them service. But as long as we, as a city's portion of the expenses stays the same or increases, we can still certify that line.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Any questions, thoughts on this?
No, we're good.
Folks? Okay, next item is discussion and possible decision regarding recommendation to council to pursue fire department staffing analysis after consultation with Fire Advisory Board. Adam, you want to take us through that, please? Thank you.
Sure. So the city of Whitewater recently, their fire department recently did a staffing analysis with McMahon Associates. And so I talked to the Tim Shable and Rob Whitaker from McMahon about that study. They said that they'd could do a similar study for Elkhorn's fire department. If you guys wanted, they would provide us a quote. So my question to you is whether you want us to get a quote from them to do that. And if so, we would present that quote to the council at the next council meeting, assuming they can get us that quote by that date. And then the goal would be to present that quote to the Fire Advisory Board and see what see what the town of Sugar Creek and the town of Geneva want to do as well. So that is the staffing analysis option. Like I said, that McMahon and Associates could do.
And what is the possible cost impact of that?
Yeah, they estimated it could be between 10 and 20,000. So I think they said Whitewater's was around 12, but that was a couple of years ago. So I'm sure there's a percentage increase since then, but that was the range they gave me.
If we go ahead with this, how would we cover the expense for that?
Well, and that we have several options. Either A, we can, as the city, either charge it to sort of general admin, we could charge it to the fire department, but knowing that, whether the department's over or under, we could just, as a council, you guys could make that, decision that you think it's beneficial for the department and you understand that the department may go over on cost because it was something that was not anticipated for the year. So.
I think this might be a great idea considering all the concerns that's happening in the community and the unknowns that we have by actually having an analysis done. We're going to be able to, have data to work with. So it'd be a data-driven decision. It takes all these questions and hearsay out of the equation and actually lays it out and says, look, this is what the analysis says, and this is what we're going to review based on. And considering that the size of the city that we're in, our whole fire department area is very consistent with these other municipalities such as Whitewater. As a matter of fact, Whitewater is actually bigger than we are. So I know they had struggles with this as well, and that's why they ended up doing this. So I think it would be a great idea.
I would like to see it go forward, analysis be conducted.
Is that your motion?
My motion, go ahead with the analysis.
I have a motion. Look for a second. Yeah, motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I just, I guess I want to be clear that we maybe should expand the bid quotes instead of just going with this one organization. Is there a particular reason that we're going to go with them other than they used Whitewater? I'd like to at least get a couple, 3 bids from other competing people that do the similar work for similar sized cities, if we can. Maybe we can.
Yeah, we can either try to get quotes, you could do a more formal RFP. The question is just timing, how long you want that process to take. So we can try with quotes if quotes is what you want.
And again, if it's something where, yeah, you can get a quote from us, but it'll be 6 months, well, that's not going to work for us. So maybe we embed a deadline into, if you want to participate in the bidding process for the quote, you have, I don't know, 4 weeks. Shouldn't take them that long to figure out how long it's going to, take to put a quote in. And if they can't meet the deadline, then they're not going to be considered. And like I said, unless there's some compelling reason we want to go with McMahon and Company.
Well, my thoughts initially is that we want to get this in front of the fire advisory as quick as we can.
Right.
Right. And my thought is that if we can get in front of the fire advisory, hey, there's opportunities here. It's possible we might have Lafayette reconsider leaving if we can put together a plan that actually puts things more in line for cost wise, where they don't leave. So therefore, not all the other jurisdictions are hit with the extra cost. But if this quote comes back and it's very large, then I would say, yes, then we need to look at other avenues and maybe look for other quotes, but maybe do this initial one, being that they, we have some sort of baseline on what they've done and seems to be successful. They were spoken highly of. That would just be my thoughts. Again, I think time is of the essence. The sooner we can get this in line, if there does seem to be a cost impact where we can start making positive change in the department and start saving some of the costs that we're expending, as well as make the adjustments to staffing. I think the sooner the better. Again, those are just my thoughts.
Did you get a sense from them, Adam, about how long it would take for them to get us a quote?
They
Is it a
didn't,
matter of days, weeks, months?
I don't think it'll take very long for them to give us a quote, no. Because like I said, they gave me a rough ballpark. I don't think it would take them that long to get the quote, so.
So if they come back with a quote before our next council's our April 8th. So if we have a quote before April 8th, we can say, hey, we're on board or we're not. And we can say, hey, we would approve subject to fire advisory saying, yeah, they're on board with it too. I think that would be like the process so we can keep it moving fast. Or am I looking at it differently than everybody else?
Well, like I said, if there's other companies out there that can also get us a quote by April 8th, then why not expand it if we can? I mean, it's going to take these guys 3 weeks. Let somebody else, even if it's just one other competitor, give us another quote just so we can compare. And again, maybe the people that are out there, it take them way too long or they're not interested. I don't know. I don't know how many companies do this, for their business model. And maybe they can't do it by April 8th. If they can't, then obviously they won't be considered. I would just like to have one other quote versus just going with these guys because Whitewater used them.
If possible.
All right, well, we have a motion and a second to
We'll amend
move forward. You want to amend? Or-
that to try and seek another quote as stated by Alderman McClory and move forward otherwise with the conditions he said.
Okay, so we have an amended motion. We have an amended second. Okay, we got amended first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Know what you need to do?
Yep.
Okay. Oh. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.